My name is Sara, and this is a story I never told anyone before. It's not easy to talk about, but it changed my life. I wasn't a bad person, but I had some bad feelings inside me. Feelings I didn't understand when I was young. This is a story about friendship, jealousy, pain, and finally, peace. It's about a girl named Jenny, but it's also about me, about how I let my heart get lost in jealousy, and how I finally found myself again. I am not proud of everything in this story, but I am proud I survived it, that I learned from it, and that I am finally ready to speak the truth. Jenny was the kind of girl people remembered. She didn't have to try hard. She walked into a room and people turned to look. She wasn't just beautiful in the way magazines show. It was her energy. She spoke with confidence, laughed freely, and moved through life like she belonged everywhere. Teachers loved her, students admired her, even strangers were drawn to her charm. And I, her best friend, stood beside her like a quiet shadow. People always knew Jenny. They rarely remembered me. And yet, we were close. She called me her person. I smiled with her, laughed with her. But inside something was growing darker. It's not easy to admit, but I felt like I was always second. In photos, I was the one people cropped out. In conversations, I was the one they ignored when Jenny arrived. Even my victories felt small next to hers. When I topped a test, Jenny had already won a scholarship. When I wore a new dress, hers looked more expensive, more beautiful. Slowly, I started feeling invisible. And that's when jealousy started to whisper in my ear. You're not enough. I hated that voice, but I couldn't silence it. I was drowning in comparisons, and nobody even knew. Comparison is a slow poison. It doesn't kill you at once. It eats you day by day. I began comparing every single part of my life with hers. Her home was bigger. Her parents more modern. Her shoes always clean. Her photos got more likes. Even her problems seemed prettier. I didn't just envy her success. I envied her ease. It seemed like the world bent itself to make room for her. I, on the other hand, was always trying to fit in. And with each comparison, I lost a little bit more of myself. I was no longer living. I was just trying to compete with a girl who never asked me to. There comes a moment when a quiet pain turns into something louder. For me, it was the day of the annual speech competition. I had poured my heart into preparing. I wanted this one win for myself. When I stood on stage, I gave it my best. The applause I received felt like sunlight after a long winter. But then Jenny took the stage. And the moment she started speaking, the room changed. Her words were powerful, her voice is strong. When she ended, people stood. They clapped louder than I'd ever heard. That sound, it didn't just break my heart. It broke my belief in myself. That night, I went home and cried. Not because I lost, but because I felt like I didn't matter. After that, I began to pull away. Jenny noticed, of course. She asked if I was okay, but I lied. I said I was tired, busy, fine, but I was never fine. I hated myself for being jealous. I hated myself for feeling so small. I didn't know how to tell her. What kind of friend feels this way? I started avoiding her, pretending to be busy when she called. I watched her laugh with new people and felt a mix of relief and sadness. I wasn't sure who I was anymore without our friendship, but I also didn't know how to heal while still standing next to her. One day she cornered me. "Sara," she said, "what happened to us?" Her voice was soft but firm. I couldn't lie anymore. I broke down. I told her everything. I said, "I know it's ugly, but I've been jealous of you. I feel like you shine so bright, I disappear next to you." I waited for her anger, for her to walk away, but she didn't. She looked at me with something I didn't expect: sadness. Not for herself, but for me. She said, "I never knew you felt this way. I never meant to take the light from you." And that moment, it wasn't dramatic. It was quiet, but it saved me. Because I had finally told the truth. Jenny didn't shout. She didn't leave. Instead, she opened her heart. She said, "Sara, I always thought you were the strong one, the thoughtful one. When people came to me, I always sent them to you for real advice. I never wanted to compete with you. I needed you." Her words stayed in my mind for weeks. I had made her a symbol of everything I wasn't, without realizing she had insecurities too. That night, I didn't sleep. But for the first time in a long time, I didn't cry from pain. I cried from relief, from the weight leaving my chest. A few months later, Jenny moved to another city. We stayed in touch for a while. Calls, texts, voice notes. But life happened, and distance grew. Surprisingly, I didn't feel sad, because her leaving gave me space to find myself. I started taking risks I had been too scared to take before. I joined clubs, started writing, and focused on my growth. Without Jenny beside me, I finally stopped comparing. And slowly I realized I had things to offer too. Not better than hers, just different. And that was enough. Now, when I look back, I don't feel shame. I feel proud. I walked through the dark part of my heart and came out stronger. I know now that jealousy is a sign of something deeper, self-doubt, and the only way to fight it is with honesty, kindness, and growth. Jenny wasn't the villain in my story. Neither was I. We were both just girls trying to understand ourselves in a world that loves competition. And maybe that's the lesson. We don't have to shine like someone else. We just have to keep the light in our own soul alive and let it grow in peace.